Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a chicken. It's going to be really fun, I think. A little funny chicken with the hat on. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to chat for our live show tonight. So if you've got questions on painting, you can ask those in chat and I'll try to answer. Let's get started. Oops. Hello.
Oops,
my camera was in my lap.
oh.
Guess I didn't check my camera placement there. Sorry about that. Okay. We're professionals here. We know what we're doing. Okay.
All right.
We've only done this like hundreds of times. I'm using a 9x12 inch canvas today. This is a Fredrix mixed media canvas board, and 9x12 size. And I've painted it with yellow oxide to get it ready for tonight's show. And we're going to be using a few different brushes for our chicken here. You're just going to want some sort of a Filbert, probably a rounded edge brush. So I've got the number 2 Filbert and the number 4 short Filbert in the Princeton Aspen. And then I've also got my blenders. So either one of those, I think these ones are going to work for our feathers. Just kind of want a little bit of rounded edge. So these are the 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch blenders. And then for the eyes and some of the smaller details, you're just going to want a small round brush. These are the 2 and 4 round from the VelvetTouch and the 1/4 inch angle. And then for your background, you're just going to need a large flat. So I've got the Summit Series 10 Bright for that. All right, so I'll use different brushes. I'll mention them as I go too. Let's go over our colors. Got Carbon Black, Burnt Umber, Burnt Sienna, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, Yellow Oxide, Indian Yellow Hue, Cadmium Yellow Light, Cobalt Turquoise, Phthalo Blue Green shade, Ultramarine Blue, and Quinacridone Magenta. And this is Unbleached Titanium and Titanium White. What?
Sorry, could you show the brush that you used to paint the background?
Yes. It's the red line number 3 inch from Princeton. They have these, I think, in the Brush Guys website.
Okay, so it's just like a large brush.
It's a paddle. Yeah, it's a short paddle brush. They're called very short bristles, and they just make quick work of the background. That's what I usually use for them.
Okay, sorry about that.
And then I hang them upside down, or, it's nice that it's got the hole here, so I just hang them to dry so that the water doesn't get up.
After a professional cleaning from your assistant.
Right. Yes, after Mark cleans them for me.
Check.
All right. Sometimes I just use a paper towel too to do the background. So, all righty, let's get going here. I'm going to secure my things here too, just to make sure that those are out of the way. I don't want to get paint on my shirt. There we go. Turn them inside out, and then if I get paint on it, it won't matter. Okay, so I'm going to use chalk here, and this is dry, and I'm going to draw out our design for our chicken. So I photoshopped this probably really badly, so it's not great, but you get the idea. It's going to be fun, I think. So the big pom-pom on the top of the head, right up in the corner there. And then the hat coming down either side like that. And then the little strings coming off. And you can do these however you want. You can change the color of the hat, whatever you want to do for that. Then the chicken's head kind of narrow where it goes up into under the hat and then comes out. Kind of that's sort of the shape there, like that. And then our head is turned to the side, so I'm just going to kind of make a line here and kind of across there, so I know sort of where to place the eyes. So the eyes are right on the edge of the head, there and there, and then right down the middle. Let's go ahead and do kind of a line down the middle too. Right down the middle, right kind of at the top of the eyes. It does a little triangle, and then inside that triangle there's another little triangle that comes out like that, meets up on that line that I did. The line that I did here is about halfway down this part of the face. So this is kind of like the lighter color that you're seeing under the chin. So I'm just kind of splitting that in half, and that's kind of where I'm putting the beak there. So the beak is coming up and down. My chalk is kind of hard to see here, but hopefully we'll be able to tell what's going on. And then just doing like that. So there we go. There's our little beak. And then there's a little bit of the beak showing underneath right here and here. And then from here, the neck kind of comes down and out there. And I'm kind of making the face a little bit smaller. I might bring that face down a little bit and make it a little bit larger. But I know, isn't it cute? Mark saw a picture of a chicken with a hat on in some Facebook group, and he was like, we need to do that. And so I was like, yes. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I pictured it right away. And they actually sell these kind of hats on Etsy. They have shops. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
I know. So, all right, so got that. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of work on the background. And I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot with the background. I'm just going to kind of do, I think, some random greens. And then if we want to put some flowers in there later, if we have time, we can do them toward the end of the show. But for now, I'm just going to kind of paint them in green. So I'm using the Phthalo Blue and Indian Yellow Hue here, and I'm going to use a little bit of white. I'm going to make a really pretty green, and I'm just going to use that. It's kind of a teal, on the teal side slightly. The more yellow you use, the more green, brighter green it'll be, so however you want to do it. I probably do want it a little bit more yellow now that I'm thinking about it, because this hat is teal, so I'll do the background a little bit more on the yellow-green side, maybe even a little bit lighter. There we go. And I'm just going to paint over that little dongle there that's hanging down, the little part. Don't need to worry about that. So if you kind of do your lines sort of vertically here when we paint this on, like if we kind of just put it on this way, it kind of looks like grass a little bit. So it just gives a kind of like nod to being sort of grass, or, you know, something like that going on back here.
Gives it some shape.
Yeah.
Without being in your face.
Without being, right. We don't have to be obvious about it, but it just kind of gives it a little bit of something going on back there. So that's what I think I'm going to do here to start. And then, like I said, if we want to add flowers or something to it later, we can. But at least we'll...
It's kind of like me liking you.
What?
You know, not have to be in your face about it. Obvious, just kind of lurking in the background. Hey, real quick, question. So why did you choose to use the yellow for the background?
Because the chicken had a lot of yellow in it, and I like yellow oxide as a background. It goes with just about everything, and especially for like landscapes or, you know, greens, it's going to make a nice backdrop too. And if it shows through in places, it won't clash with anything. But I saw a lot of the yellow undertones in the chicken when I was, you know, studying the image, so I thought it'd be good. I'm going to come in just a little bit on the chicken face and body so that when I put the feathers in, I can go over the top of the green and it'll give me a little room to work. So come in just inside that drawn line there so we can put our feathers kind of fluffing out over the top. I just thought this was the cutest thing. And I really wanted to do like a whole, like several chickens, but since it being a Tuesday night, I didn't want to try to fit in too many at once. But I think it would be really cute to have a whole line of
you're going to do a
chickens.
series.
Yeah, I think I might.
Chicken with hats.
We'll see if people like it. Let me know in the comments if you like it and want to see more of these, because I think I would be totally down for that. I think it'd be super fun.
Have one with an Easter bonnet.
Oh, yeah, a little flowered Easter bonnet. Super cute.
Tied around its neck.
Yep.
Do chickens have chins?
I think so.
I mean, I've heard the question, do chickens have lips? But no, chickens have chins. How's everybody doing tonight?
I don't know. Hopefully good.
Hopefully good. You doing good?
doing so good. I hired somebody today to help me. Okay, this is how stressed I've been. Last night, I'm just using some greens here, just different tones of green here. So some a little bit more blue, some a little bit more yellow, just making my way up. So last night I got ready for bed and changed into my pajamas, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, did my, face stuff, went back into the closet, took off my pajamas, put them back on the shelf to get my pajamas on. And realized I'm holding my pajamas that I need to be changing into. So that's how my brain has been working lately. It's like, oh my God. So last night when I went to bed, I posted on Facebook, I need help. Yeah. I was like, that was it. That my brain is shutting down. Oh my gosh. I was like, okay, I got to hire somebody to help me because this is obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Change back out of my pajamas to put them back on. Yeah.
I get up at 4:30 and who's awake reading?
Me.
You, yeah.
Because I couldn't.
And I take a shower, I get ready for work, and she follows me out into the kitchen and just talk about everything she's been thinking about all night long because she can't sleep.
Poor Mark. He was a good sport.
And threw me out of my routine so much that I made espresso into nothing. It went into the drain.
To put the cup underneath.
Yep. So,
yeah. I know. You're welcome. It's
rubbing off on me.
And I was like, and I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and then I got this, and what about that? And yeah, so my brain was going a mile a minute, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hire somebody to help me. So, and fortunately, I've worked with this guy before, so it's going to work out really good. He's available. I didn't know he was going to be available, so I would have asked a while back, but anyhow. All right, just add in some, there we go. So just kind of some funky, grassy-like stuff back there. I added some burnt umber and ultramarine blue there to these ones here. And somebody was asking, they sent me a thing, and they said, when they mix their ultramarine blue and burnt umber, that it makes like a weird green color. It doesn't make a nice blue-gray. And that probably means that your burnt umber is not the same tone as mine. Like Golden's burnt umber has a really neutral brown, but some burnt umbers are mixed differently depending on the brand that you're using. And so some burnt umbers will have a little bit more yellow or a little bit more purple, and so they will mix differently than mine are doing. So you may just kind of keep that in mind if you're using a different brand from Golden, that you may have to add either a little bit more blue or different brown, or maybe a little bit of black, or burnt sienna. You just have to kind of play with your particular colors and see how they mix and see which, what colors you can make out of them. But yeah, it does. That is one of the things about this particular burnt umber is a mixed color. It's not a pure toned color like ultramarine blue and phthalo blue and those kind of things. Those will be the same no matter what brand you're using, but certain colors are different depending on the brand, that the way they mix the brand of paint. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more of this bright yellow green because I feel like I still went a little bit teal on this. Okay, see right here, that paint was lifting there. That just means that was drying, so I need to just leave this alone, let it dry. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get the short Filbert number 4 and my phthalo blue and burnt sienna, and that will make a beautiful dark teal. We'll use that as our base color for our hat. It's really dark. It's almost black. It's so dark. So we're going to use that. I might add a little bit of the teal just to lighten it up slightly. Or you can add a little bit of white to it even. See, there's the undertone there. And depending on how much blue I add, it'll be more, blue-ish. So I think that's good. And I'm just going to kind of tap in around the side of it to give it that kind of fluffy hat texture. It's knitted, a knitted cap or crocheted, so it's kind of lumpy.
So
We're going a little bit darker than we need it to be because we'll be adding the lighter color on top.
So somebody says that they crochet hats
For chickens like this?
and love animal hats. So they're wanting to know
What?
if we would want some for
Yeah.
Fitzy and Cashmere.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. That's great.
Fitzy might wear it. Cashmere will kill us. Just saying.
Yeah, she will.
We have a picture of her in a Halloween costume,
Yeah.
cowboy hat, and the look on her face.
Oh, she's like death to whoever did this to me. Yeah. Yeah, she was not happy with us.
Oh, there she is. I should heard her name.
Yeah, she heard we were talking about her. Who's you calling for me? Yeah, just kind of loading up this brush fairly thick so that I get a good like thick line here, and I'm just kind of dabbing to create that textured. Okay, there we go. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Make his pom a little bigger. Okay. Okay, so we'll let that dry, and while it's drying, I'll go ahead and put in our chicken. So I think the main colors are going to be the burnt sienna and quinacridone burnt orange and yellow oxide. So I'm going to kind of mix those three colors together and kind of start with that. And it's really going to be helpful to have these lines when you're drawing, because your tendency is going to want to be to like straighten out these lines, but you know, we really want to keep that angle going. So just make sure you kind of have them marked out so we keep that nice tilt to the head. That's what makes it so cute. And I'm just going to kind of go over the eyes, I think, totally, and I'll put them back in here once I get this on. And I am kind of going with the feathers, so the direction that I'm seeing the feathers with this, so that the yellow that peeks through is going to be tinted the right color. Kind of covered up the beak on that side, but here, I'll put it back in. And I'm going to use that unbleached titanium here and just kind of mark the line down the face while this is wet. And that area kind of just above the beak. Okay.
So like all things of this nature, my mind always goes to, what was the conditions like for this to be dreamt up and implemented?
The hat?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. These chickens it must have been cold out. Owner must have been worried about their chickens.
I'm sure. I'm sure there was no alcohol involved.
Okay, using the white here, the very tip of the beak, it's kind of blunted to tip. Not too pointy. It makes a diamond shape right here. Right here. kind of longer at the bottom. There. And then I'm going to get the kind of darker yellow oxide and just kind of fill in this area underneath the beak with that. Which we've already kind of got it in there, but just give it another coat. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I have kind of a separation there where I know where this beak ends. I'm going to kind of darken up the edge of that beak and cover it up a little bit right there. There we go. See, we're already getting the shape there. It's already kind of looking like we want it to look, sort of. I'm going to get some of the yellow. Maybe a little Indian yellow hue with the white here. And it's going to kind of come up underneath there. I'm going to grab some of that burnt sienna color that I mixed and just blend where they meet up right here. So overlap a little bit. And the feathers come down straight under the chin area here, kind of straight, and then they fan out around the face like that. Kind of these ones go out this way. I'm gonna kind of start on the outside here and press down. Kind of fluff out those feathers there, and then same thing over here, just kind of fluff out those feathers along the side of the face there. And they kind of curl in under the eyes a little bit. Okay. And let's get more of that darker color. I'm just using the edge of the brush so it's kind of tilted up on its end. And as we come down, we can make these brush strokes a little bit bigger, a little heavier. To keep that overall shape, remember we kind of drew it out where it comes in and then comes out around the cheeks of the, kind of on either end of the side of the face here. So kind of keep that shape. It like widens out here and then it curves around, creates this little shape here. And some chickens will have these wattles coming out. I think this might be a juvenile chicken because I don't see the wattles on it in this photo, so it may not, or maybe different kind that doesn't have the wattles that come down here, but some chickens will have that right there.
Ooh,
some of the photos that I found.
That might be a good Wordle word.
Wattle. I think it's too many words, too many letters.
Darn it. But again, we're very fortunate that we have chickens, on Earth, so we know what everything tastes like.
Yeah.
I mean, be walking around going, "What does this taste like?" I don't know. I have no idea. Wish we had a reference point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, doing some little bitty brush strokes right up around the head there. Get the bigger brush there. I need to be using a bigger brush or a smaller brush. This brush is way too big for this, but all right, getting a little bit of burnt umber now, and down here I'm going to go a little bit darker. And kind of work from the bottom up so that these all overlap. too brown. Just want a little bit of darkness there, and then we'll get the burnt umber and burnt sienna. Just adding different brush strokes here, overlapping them a little bit, layering them on top. I'm going to get some more yellow for over here with the burnt umber and burnt sienna and quinacridone burnt orange. A bit of yellow, oxide. Letting some of those brush strokes overlap so that the brush strokes on top will kind of push back the ones underneath. And the way I'm setting my brush down at an angle, it's kind of helping, because I'll do one here. See how it's thinning out right here? So then I can put another one here and another one here and see how it kind of overlaps and creates this interlocking pattern. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of quickly, I'm not, being super careful about it, but that's kind of the general shape that I want of these on these feathers. A little bit more of the lighter color, and that way they kind of fit in to one another too, without this Filbert does all the work for us. They're already looking like feathers without us having to even really do anything. Just the way we're layering them on there. Okay, looks pretty good. Get some burnt or some unbleached titanium here and go along the side here and add some highlights. I haven't cleaned out my brush, so this is still the same colors.
And that's a Filbert.
Yeah, Filbert.
In the Aspen series?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2?
Filbert 4, short Filbert.
I was doing so good.
Mm-hmm. I did talk about the number 2 earlier, though.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to judge by looking at it, because I'm not paying attention to anything you're saying.
True. Fact. Okay, getting some more yellow.
No.
And I'm just going to kind of dab in some random feathers with my yellow over the top of that darker here, just to kind of give it some texture. Add some highlights and give it some depth. That looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to let that dry completely, and then we'll see. It'll dry a little bit darker, so we may want to go back in and add some more highlights to it later. So excuse me. I think I'm going to use the 4/4 inch blender here for the hat, and I'm going to grab my teal, Cobalt Teal, and oh, you tell him, Fitty. Shh. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That encouraged him. Shh. No. Sorry.
I can hear your neighbor friend, but we're not parking. Can you go inside?
Okay. I've got the Phthalo blue with a little bit of this Cobalt Teal here. I grabbed a little bit of burnt sienna to make it a little bit more teal. It's a little bit more blue than that original color here. This is the original color. I'm not sure if it's still wet. I'm gonna spray it, see. And then Cobalt Teal, and then this one's Cobalt Teal plus a bunch of white. So we've got kind of 3 different tones to work with, sort of a mid-tone and 2 lighter tones. And I'm just gonna start at the top of the hat here and add some fluff. And make sure that I leave plenty of that dark showing in between. So I'll see how we do. And then get some of the lighter. I think this is probably needing a little bit more teal. So I'm gonna make a lighter teal and I'm gonna press that brush flat so that I can get kind of a straight line there on it. And let's go at the top of it. Oh yeah, that's good. Nice and bright. There we go. So there's our fluffy poof. I can bring it down a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit more of just the teal. Yeah, it's a little bit darker at the base right here. So I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to get a little bit of my lighter. Well, no, I'll get the little turquoise. And I'm going to hold my brush at an angle here. And I'm just going to dab stitches across my hat. And then skip and go in between like that. I don't know if that's quite doing it. I think I want to kind of angle, maybe angle it back this way. There we go. Change the direction of them. I'm kind of going in one direction and then kind of making sort of V shapes, sideways V shapes here with them. That's good. I'm not being particular, super particular about it. We're just trying to get it kind of just to mimic that shape without having to go into too much detail. Getting the lighter turquoise and doing some of the ones kind of in the middle of the hat. That'll round it out a little bit, make it look a little bit closer to us in the front here. Having a little bit more of the brighter color right in the middle, darker along the sides, and I'm probably going to glaze the sides a little bit. I'm going to get this darker turquoisey blue. Just do some down at the bottom of that poof to meet up with the hat there. And then right along that edge, I'm just going to get my kind of a little bit of both of those colors, and just so I went in that direction. I may just do, let me see, so it's that way, so I'm going to go this way and overlap that edge. So I'm getting, see, like that. Okay. And then my little, I'm just going to crisscross my little lines down the try to overlap them somewhat. I need to probably need a smaller brush, but I'm being kind of lazy right now. Okay, we'll see. I don't know if that worked on that part. And then we'll go ahead and get the turquoise and do our little pom-pom puff here. That's actually kind of working just without doing a whole lot to it. Add the darker color in there, give it some depth. Okay, we'll let that dry and then we'll add some details on top, but that's pretty good so far. So far, so good. We're not wanting too much. I did kind of notice that I'm kind of straight across on there and I want to dip it down, so I'm probably going to have to add a little bit of a brush stroke here and here. I'm going to get my 4 and do that right here. 4 round. Number 4 round. Just kind of round that off a little bit. The hat's probably a little high on the head, but it's all right. Oops. This is why I'm not a watercolor artist. Right there. That. Amongst other things, but I'm too messy. Okay. So let's go ahead and figure out where the eyes are going to go. I'm going to tilt this so I'm kind of seeing it on its side here. I think I'm going to put them right here. Let me get the yellow oxide and some white. And I'm going to add a little bit of this green, make them kind of greenish. So I'm just grabbing some of this green from the background and adding the yellow to it so that it's kind of a yellowish green. No, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light, and a little bit of, probably a little phthalo blue. Oops, I just stuck my finger in that. I didn't realize it was so wet. All right, right here. So I want it to be, I want a kind of a, there's like a diagonal line. So here's the little top of the beak here. And right at the midpoint of this is where the eye is, the center of the eye, just about. And it's real close to the edge of the face. And if you come straight down from the bottom of the beak, that's kind of the center of the eye that way. So kind of know where we're at. So there, kind of an oval. And then this one's a little bit in, farther in. The way it's tilted. Okay, something like that. They look really weird, devil eyes right now, but we'll get them there. Okay, good. Let's get some of the burnt umber. I'm just going to add that to this color, and I'm going to kind of outline them a little bit. This will kind of set them down into the face. And depending on how angry you want them to look, you can curve this up over. You know, they have that kind of eyebrow that sort of curves up over and makes them look a little bit angry. There and there. I'm going to get a little bit of my darker burnt orange, burnt sienna, burnt umber mixture. Darken up right there. And darken up kind of underneath the beak. Across a little bit. Kind of curves down. These are going to be softened up. I'm just kind of trying to map out some shapes here. Get some of the yellow oxide and Indian yellow hue here, and I'm just going to kind of go over that to kind of soften up that line a little bit. What are you laughing at over there?
Jillian commented that she didn't think she'd ever would be painting chicken eyebrows in her lifetime.
Yeah.
What life choices did you make?
To get you to this point, yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to go over that a little bit, soften that up. It's kind of too dark right there. It's actually kind of got a little bit of red, so I'm going to get a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta and add that right there. And that's kind of where the wattle would be on some chicken, so kind of coming down right here and here. I think that's what we're seeing is kind of the beginnings of it. And I may not leave it that red, but we'll see. So just kind of making small adjustments, getting the cadmium or that burnt what color is this? Unbleached Titanium. Oh my God. I am in the right side of my brain. There's no words over there. The dictionary is in the other side of my brain. Okay, so kind of this sort of shape there. Okay. And then I want that bright white. I'm going to go along the top of the beak and pull it down the middle there and just highlight kind of where it comes down there. I'm going to get some yellow, get a little bit more of that Indian yellow hue and yellow, and make this more yellow. What are you laughing at?
So we're in the vampire chicken stage.
Yes. It's very vampire-ish. Okay.
That's from our wonderful, loyal fans.
I'll get it there. Trust me. Doesn't look like it right now, but I promise I'll get it there.
If you're tuning in right now,
like, what the hell is she doing?
This might not be a good time for me to pitch Patreon then.
Yeah.
Do you want to learn how to paint vampire animals? Join us on Patreon.
You too can paint like this. All right, so there we go. Kind of this negative smiley face. Not negative smiley face. That's my right brain talking right there. AKA frowny face. For the rest of English speaking folks. Oh my gosh. And getting some of this kind of yellowish burnt orange mixture with these three here. And I'm just going to very lightly kind of add it right along the sides of that beak, leaving that highlight along the top edge and the highlight down the middle there. I need to wipe that out. I'm going to get a little bit more white, maybe a little bit more of that yellow, and just kind of tap it out and kind of soften that up and just blend it in. Blend it into that yellow. There we go. So now we've got this dark light and this light coming straight down, and this is going to bring that beak right out at us and give it some shape. Okay, pretty happy with that. So let's go ahead and get the black here, and we'll make our eyes not so vampire-ish. So, pupil. Kind of right in the middle on that one. And this one is a little closer to this edge and toward the top. Trying to make them match. Ish. I think that's close. Close, and they're oval. They're not round because the way we're looking at them from the side. So they're probably round if you look at them from the straight on. But you know, you've got something circular, and as you turn it, tilt it away from you, it's going to look more oval. So that's why the eye is looking like that. All right, and then I'm going to get that yellow again. Clean up right here. I got a little bit of that black right there. Oh, she's cute. So we'll let that black dry really well, and then we'll just add a little bit of the highlights to it. It's cute, isn't it? I'm going to get some of this kind of magenta, burnt orange, yellow mixture here, and use it right under the eye. There's kind of some pink. Maybe get a little bit of the unbleached titanium to give it a little bit of opacity, because those colors were all transparent. Well, except for the yellow oxide, but it wasn't quite light enough. So we'll get a little bit of the unbleached titanium. That'll make it more opaque. So we can add that underneath the eye. Add it around here. I'm just going to add some on top of that dark and blend that in a little bit. And so now it's just going to be a matter of kind of like softening up these transitions. So if you see any areas that are like really obviously like just jarring looking, and you may have to step back and look at it from a distance and see. You know, that's what you're going to want to do, is just kind of, I like it. He's so cute. I think I like him better than the photograph one. Well, the photograph is blurry, so that's what we're just kind of resolving the picture a little bit, making it a little bit more clear. So I'm going to kind of darken up around the beak a little bit, just give it a little bit more definition, shadow, so that you can see it against the background. And I put that dark line, and I want to just soften it up. So I'm just adding water here, and I'm just going to push that color around to just blend it out a little bit. And get some more of that yellowish white here. And I think I brought the beak down a little bit farther than is in the photo. I'm going to widen it out just a little bit.
You're getting sleepy.
Oh, he's cute. He's so cute. She, I should say, not he. She. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. Really go heavy with this white now, and just really do a nice bright highlight right there. Really pop that out. And just kind of tap along the edges with a dry, dampish brush there, just to kind of smooth it, smush it out. Okay. Still a little bit wet. So let's go ahead and work on the hat. I'm pretty happy with the face for the most part. And I'm pretty happy with the feathers, I think. Might work on it right here. I feel like that transition between this neck and right here might could use a few more feathers, but let's go ahead and just add a little bit more detail to the hat, and I think this brush is the one to do it with. This is number 4 round because we can get smaller brush strokes. That other brush was just a little bit too big. So I'm going to use this lighter color and just kind of do some little, this is the same colors as we were using before. And I'm just going to add water. This brush needs water, so if you don't have enough water in your brush when you're using a round brush, it won't come off. The fibers are usually thinner, longer, and they just won't push that paint around, especially using these heavy body acrylics, unless you're using a harder, stiffer bristled brush like this. So this is a softer, this 4 round from the VelvetTouch is softer. So you just need water enough to where it's really easily going through the paint and you're not having any resistance, and then you'll know it'll come off on your canvas pretty easily. And I'm actually gonna get some fluid white here so I can get a lighter blue without having to add so much water. Okay, so there we go. So I've got the teal, and then I've got a little bit of the kind of whitish color here. I'm just going to kind of go through here and add little smaller brush strokes. And I'm not going to worry about the color too much because I'm probably going to glaze this, but I'm going to get some Phthalo blue and burnt umber, or burnt sienna, I mean. I'm going to get the ultramarine blue too. Alright, so we have just a nice dark blue here. Add a little bit of the teal to it. A little bit more of that. The teal just has phthalo blue and phthalo green plus white. That's pretty much what it is. So there we go. So we'll have kind of a dark mid and light tones here. I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more of the dark. There we go. So the puffball is going to be the ones that are facing out. It's, you know, it's just a bunch of all of these strings that are all connected in the middle. So the ones that are coming straight at us, we're only seeing like dots. And then as they angle away from us, we're seeing, you know, lines. So right here in the middle, it's just going to be dots. And then as we get farther away, it's going to kind of start to radiate out longer and longer. But the ones that are in front of it are going to hide, so we're not actually going to see any like long string like strings, even though we know that they are long and they're all kind of reaching into the center here. We're only seeing just a little tips of all of these, so that will help. Kind of keep these center ones just little dots radiating out. And then kind of like that. See that? Okay. I kind of emphasized it there a little bit more than it needed to be, but get the idea. So I'm going to use my darker and just kind of go in here and add some stitches. over the top of my light there, kind of helping create that. These shapes.
So here we are at the beginning of another month.
Yeah.
And remind everybody about patreon.com/angelfineart. Over there you can support the channel by signing up on different levels. And right now we have a level with just traceables. And then we also have a level with the traceables and a bonus video. And then also a third level with all that plus an additional challenge image.
Right.
So if you're wanting to do more detailed works and a little bit longer videos, they're over there on Patreon.
Yes. Lots of resources on there. We've got several dozen, I don't even know, probably over 100. I'm not really sure how many. We've been doing it since 2017, so, and we do one a month, so add that up.
5 years this month.
Wow. So 5 times 12.
Is 60.
Okay, so that's many. How many? Just about how many?
Yeah, because you
bonus
get access
videos.
to all of that.
And right, and then plus another 60 or so, maybe less, maybe 50 of the challenge images, because some of the challenge images we went 2 months on. But yeah, lots of great videos, longer ones that just don't. YouTube doesn't really. The longer videos just don't do well on YouTube, and I wanted to paint them, and this gives me kind of a way to do that for folks. And fortunately, it's been popular, and people seem to like it, so we're continuing on with it. I really love getting to do the bonus videos, and the challenge images are usually things that are like they sound challenges. They're things that I've either never painted or, just things that are a little bit trickier to paint and require a good, much longer to paint. So we usually do those over several weeks on Thursdays and that's a private lesson. Most every Thursday. Some months we take 1 week off if we get it done early. So, but yeah, it's pretty fun. We've got a really great group of folks, and that $10 level also gets their own Facebook group, so they can post work for critiques and things like that. And if they're working on a project and need help with it, they can post it in there, and I'll help them kind of figure out what colors they need to do, or if they, where they need to focus on changing stuff. So it's pretty
now,
fun.
If you think about it, you can pay $5 and get access to 60 long tutorials in painting. When you at that $10, you get that plus an additional probably about 50 or so, 50 plus more on top of that.
Right.
For $10.
Yep.
Come on, you're crazy.
Well, it is, there are a lot of people who do what I do, and they sell like courses, and, usually the courses will be $30, $40, $80, dollars, depending on how many videos for, just a handful of videos, maybe 6 to 10, but we offer our full library for the flat fee. Of course, you probably can't watch all of them in 1 month. So, yeah.
Challenge
And
accepted.
it's kind of like Netflix where, you know,
2 a day.
you only have access while you're a member too. So it's not like, you know, you download them and have them forever. So it's a little bit different, but it works. So, all right. So just kind of added the dark back in on top of that. And I really like what's going on here. I think it's cute. You know, it, just make sure you've got some dark and some light. And I'm kind of trying to make it look like a braid almost, you know, like how it crisscrosses in a braid. That's what I'm not being too particular about it because it's twisted, so it's not all looking the same, you know, it's not all facing us. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you get the idea though, just from the context and, you know, everything going on. Your brain will fill in the gaps. So, and I think I'm pretty happy with that color. It turned out to be more blue than teal, but I honestly don't mind it against that green background. It looks nice. So I think I'm going to keep that color. Let me get, let me see. I'm going to go ahead. I guess I'll use this same brush. Well, yeah, let me go ahead and use this one. This is the Filbert, the shorter, the more narrow Filbert number 2. And I'll use it on the neck of the bird here. So burnt sienna and burnt orange. Really, you could use either or of these colors. You don't probably need both, but I just wanted to kind of have a variety. The Quinacridone burnt orange is a little bit more reddish, and I knew I wanted to make the teal, so I know the burnt sienna works well for teal, so that's why I used them both. And kind of create some little brush strokes here. I'm going to darken up right around the eye here a little bit. Get a little bit, maybe a little bit of the burnt umber with this burnt orange. Use it just above the eye, right here and here, to kind of darken that up. Push that eye back in the head a little bit, and then a little bit underneath the eye as well. We kind of already did the this pinkish color, so I'm going to get that pinkish color back and kind of blend that in with that darker color. There we go. Good. Let's use a little bit of the pink on the beak. I'm seeing a little bit of pink up, like just on the beak itself at the bottom here. So just tint it a little bit. And if you're not able to tell, you know, the top from bottom here, just make sure you've got a good contrast line here. In my photograph, it's a little bit washed out between this part and this part, so I'm just kind of bumped up the contrast right there and kind of outlined the beak a little bit more so it stood out more and you could really see it. And there's some sort of anatomy right here. I think it's maybe nostrils or something I want to be sure I have right in here on either side. Just a little bit darker area right there. Here and here. Yeah, there. So there's a little dark, get a little bit of burnt umber. A little bit of a dark area right here. So just kind of make a little bit of a darkness right there. Again, a little bit darkness right where this goes up underneath right there. And just blend that out so that it's not so obvious. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Very good. And then the wattle kind of area right here, kind of coming down at an angle. And out. There and dark. Just making small changes here, just kind of seeing where it needs some small changes. I'm going to add a little bit of dark up here. That hat, that teal came down right there. And then right up underneath the hat, it's not in my photograph because it's photoshopped, but there would be a shadow. So I'm going to get some water and some burnt umber here. And just go right up underneath the hat on the side here and just add a shadow right where it comes over the top of the feathers. Right there. That'll make it settle down into the head, look like it's part of the head, or, you know, sitting on it and not. You can understand what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can interpret my ramblings there. Okay. All right, I'm going to get some. I'll wet those all down so they don't dry out. I'm going to get some burnt umber with some white. I'm going to actually grab a little bit of this green too if I can get some that's wet. So just like a light. There we go. Some of that with my burnt umber. So just like a slightly dark brown green. And I'm going to shadow my eyeball at the top, just like the hat. I'm going to have a little shadow where it goes down and that lid or whatever covers over. It's kind of like along this side and at the top. So just glazing a little bit darker color. And also like at the bottom here, I'm seeing a little bit of it. Okay. Then I'm going to get some white and a little bit of water. I will take most of the color off my brush. So I have just a transparent little bit of white on here. Gonna have to load it just right. You can test it out, you know, off to the side if you want to. But you just want a little bit of, there we go. Well, oh, that's almost too much, yeah. A little bit of transparency. There we go. See how that worked? Let me come back over here. So it's going over the top of the yellow and the black. A little bit of both. And then if you really want to sparkle it up, you can grab a little bit of just bright white and just do a little dab of bright white in an area where it's got some contrast so it looks obvious. So go over the black or somewhere like that. Let's go ahead and do a little bit more of the lines with the white on here. A little bit more in the middle there. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let me get a little bit of that yellow green, and I'm just going to add a little pop of that yellow green right here. Coming down around, just brighten that up just a little bit right here. Maybe a little bit right here too. Okay, a little bit brighter color. I like it. Yeah. And let's get some unbleached titanium with a little bit of the white and yellow, Indian yellow. So I want kind of just an off-white, yellowish off-white color. And I want it to be just a little bit lighter than what we've got here on these feathers already. Right here. Yep, that's good. And I'm just going to add some highlight feathers along here. This will be just kind of the finishing touch. These will really just shape out the face for us. And just make sure we're kind of paying attention to the direction. So they're facing in towards the head. Let me do a few right in here. So there's a few smaller ones right in here above the eyes. Right there. Cute. And then I feel like right here, maybe some kind of mid-size feathers. So I'm going to get some of the yellow, Indian yellow, and yellow oxide here with the burnt sienna mixture. And I'm just going to use the very tip of the brush and just kind of pull. Yeah, there we go. Get some darker color and go over them. You know, you can always go back and forth. You don't have to get it right the first time on these. So you layer them as many times as you need to until you get it just the way you like it. I feel like, though, keeping it random is probably better than trying to get it too symmetrical and too perfect, you know. So if I was to go over here and kind of line these up and really space them out evenly and things, it would look a little bit less natural than it does here. I'm going to get a little bit of the darker and just pepper that in to these lighter areas. A little bit of the lighter feathers coming down. Remember we said that these dried darker, so you can go back in and give them another layer of a little bit lighter feathers peppered in here. I'm off camera. So I've got like a long one right here. I want to kind of cover it up a little bit, so I'm going to get some of the darker color, and I can just kind of take off some of that. And then do it again. Just up here and here, kind of around it. Spread it out a little bit better. Really fun. All right. The only last thing I want to do is glaze on here. This should be fully dry before I do this. I'm going to go ahead and use my Phthalo blue and a little bit of burnt sienna, maybe burnt umber, just a darkish blue, some water. And just wanted a thin layer. There we go. And the more paint, the less water, the darker it'll be, obviously. So however you want to do it, like right up under that pom-pom, I want it a little bit darker. Just give it a little shadow. And then I'm going to darken up along this side here. Since the head is tilted this way, I feel like this side is probably getting a little bit more light. He's cute. I hope you guys like this too. I don't know. It was cute. Hopefully I'm not the only one. What?
They do on it.
They do? Okay, good. It's just a little bit of white here. What?
You ready for a question here at the end?
Sure.
Cindy wants to know, how does burnt sienna and ultramarine make teal?
Burnt sienna and phthalo blue make teal.
Oh.
Ultramarine and burnt sienna make kind of a brown gray, I think. I'll mix it here in a second and show you. And then I'm going to add some just cobalt teal on its own, just bright here, and add some of that in. Get a little bit more teal in this middle area here. I'm not really sure how to make the hat look a little bit less rounded right here. I kind of probably could have narrowed it down, but I think it's all right. Okay, so burnt umber, and which I don't have any more burnt sienna over here. I have a little bit. Burnt sienna. Dogs. Yep. So here's this color. It's like a gray, and if you add water to it, it's kind of almost a slightly lavenderish, depending on how much brown you add. You know, burnt sienna you add. So the more burnt sienna you get, but it's kind of a brownish gray color, and then you add the phthalo blue with the burnt sienna, and you get a teal. Okay, that's the difference. Ultramarine blue with burnt sienna and phthalo blue with burnt sienna. And why, I don't know. It's just whatever, the pigments are in there kind of magically makes a teal, because you wouldn't think that the blue with the reddish brown makes a teal, but it does. So it's pretty wild. All right, I think I want to, I don't know, do I need to lighten up this background some, or you think it's okay?
It's up to you.
It kind of seems a little
more wintry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Continue.
That's true, because it probably wouldn't have a lot of grass in the winter.
Or flowers.
Or flowers. True.
Like the original reference.
Yeah, the original reference was like dirt and stuff. So. Okay, so I'll make a light green gray color here.
But I think it's good. It's up to you. Oh, you already gone in.
Yeah. A little bit more beiges. Might even add a little bit of yellow to it. I'll probably have to touch up the pom-pom there. Yeah, I wish I'd thought about that before I did this. That was dumb. Well, our grass is green out there, so it's not like
yeah. No, I agree. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
I did not have a problem with it at all.
Okay. But I do think it needed a little bit more contrast. He's standing out a little bit better. You can see the difference there. So I'm just using this turquoise from the hat with the yellow. Just making a little bit lighter background. And again, I'm doing the same kind of scrubbing, so
So I'm going to put up this comment. It's pretty good.
okay. What is it?
Jazz says that your taste in paintings is impeccable tonight.
Oh gosh. You've been hanging around Mark too long. With the dad jokes. That's great. Okay, so just added some lighter yellows around here.
Super chat.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let's do it.
Some super chats? What?
Yeah. We don't have any chicken bells,
Very
so.
sweet.
All right. The first one is from Michael, 808. No special message, but thank you very much, Michael.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
And then we have another one from Cindy. And again, no special message.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Cindy.
much, Cindy and Michael. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Very sweet. You all are great. Appreciate you guys. It's pretty amazing. I love getting to share my art with you guys, and I appreciate all the nice comments and feedback that we get from everybody. It's really makes it so enjoyable. I was telling Mark, like, we're trying to, set ourselves up for still doing this in 20 years, so I want to do this for as long as you guys are watching. So sharing and liking and commenting and all that good stuff really helps us, because it lets the YouTube algorithm know that you like our videos, and they'll share them with you and others that like the same type of videos. So all of that really does make a difference. We really appreciate those who take the time to comment, and I do read them, even if I don't always reply. I try to at least read all of them. Don't have time to reply to everything anymore. I'm sorry. I wish I did, but all right. Yeah, I like that better. It's just a little softer green and a little less harsh. And I'm going to just kind of tap in around my little pom-pom here with them of my lighter blue, and just kind of don't have anything left but the lighter blue, but just make sure it's clean there. That looks good. And like I said, if you want to add some more obvious grasses or some different, things, you can go in here and add maybe some browns back in here, that like the colors that we used in our rooster kind of help to tie in your background a little bit, you know, so it's like not the only place that we have green is back here and there's no green anywhere else, you know. So just kind of helps like unify the whole thing if you have a little bit of your other colors peppered in there. But yeah, I really like it. It's really cute. And you know, we could, if you added a little bit darker around the top there, it can, you know, help kind of push the whole thing back a little bit visually. So let me get a little bit of my darker greens and just use that up at the top a little bit. Burnt umber with my phthalo blue and my Indian yellow hue here to make a darker green. And just really gonna kind of almost wash it in here. And you can also kind of add a little bit of it here and there to add a little depth into our background. Not right up next to our chicken, but it kind of helps to give it a little bit of depth, move the color around and make it look like it's got some other stuff going on besides just a solid green everywhere. There we go. I like it. I feel like we probably could have done some, maybe up here up close we'll do like some brighter leafy type stuff. I'm just fiddling at this point, just gonna play and trying to, not happy with the background totally yet, but that's something that, you know, you can kind of play with on your own. See, you might come up with a better color, better solution than I have here in my live stream. I don't paint these ahead of time, so a lot of times it helps to kind of get some distance from a painting and kind of look at it after you've finished it, you know, quote unquote finished it, and look at it for a little while and see if there's things you want to change about it. And sometimes it, you know, it can take a couple of days for it to kind of resolve itself and you'll kind of figure it out. So this is probably one where I'll be like, oh, it's so obvious, I should have added XYZ there and I would have finished it. But, you know, you guys don't have to finish it in one setting like I do. So you have the benefit of playing with it a little bit. Adding a little bit of teal here I think might help too.
Oh, I thought that was part of the deal.
What?
We do these videos for free. They have to paint it all in one sitting. I thought that was in the contract.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. When they hit subscribe, they signed up that contract.
I don't think so.
You got to read the fine print.
Okay. I'm going to get a little bit more of this, and I'm just going to kind of go back over the edge of the grass there, because I kind of covered up some of my feathers there when I added my change the grass color. Okay, and there we go. We're done. Oh, he's so cute. I love it. So if you want to see more of these and would like to do a series of chickens this year, or even different animals in hats, or, you know, just kind of funny, silly animals, I think it would be really fun. So leave me suggestions in the comments and I'll see what I can come up with. I'm always... Huh? You got some ideas? Good. Awesome. Awesome. I like it. I'm always up for photos. People have been sending me photos and different things this week, so always happy to see. No promises, obviously. You know, I've got a lot that goes into what I pick and why, but I'm going to put it over here to the side. Not on the chicken, but next to it. Sign it and say thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I'm really glad to have you part of our live stream show or watching the replay or whatever. I really appreciate the comments and hope you share it with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already, and come back, and we'll be back on Saturday for another video. We'll be painting a woman with a hair braided, and it's similar to, I'm going to do it similar to the series that I did last year with the women with the flowers in their hair. So I wanted to do a braid, and so I saw that, and I kind of photoshopped our flowers from our garden. Those are actually the dahlias from our garden that I put in her hair. So they're actually smaller than they were in real life. Because in real life, they were like this big, so it probably would have only been one on her. And then there's several. So anyhow, all right. So that'll be Saturday. So I hope you join us for that. And if you're part of my $10 Patreon crew, like I mentioned, we're going to be painting, if you want to pop it up there, the $10 challenge video that we're doing. It's going to be a cottage. Or don't. It's fine. Oh, did you? Okay. It's probably on top of it. The Tuesday video is probably on top of it. So, we're doing like an English cottage. We'll be working on it all month, so it'll be fun. So, anyhow, that'll be starting on this Thursday. If you want to join, there's still time to join for that. And then Saturday, we'll be back with our free video on YouTube. So thanks, guys, so much for watching today with us. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.